We've been married for 5 years now, but our story began long before that. I was 22 when we first met, and today I'm 33. From the moment I met him, he struck me as the most grounded, reliable person I'd ever known. There was a steady calmness about him, a methodical rhythm to his every move. He brought structure to life in a way I hadn't realized I needed. Like clockwork, he kept routines, tracking every expense, paying every bill on time, doing our taxes early, and always checking the weather before leaving the house. Never without an umbrella, even if the slightest chance of rain was forecast. That kind of order was new to me, almost comforting, and I found myself leaning into it more than I cared to admit. Early on, he told me how much he wanted children. It was one of the first deep conversations we shared. I said I wanted the same. I even rattled off a few baby names, saying it all as if I meant it. Part of me wanted to believe it. But deep down, I hadn't truly pictured that kind of life for myself. I said yes because I didn't want to lose him. He offered a future that felt stable, dependable, safe. I told myself the desire to be a mother would come when the time was right. But it never did. That feeling simply never arrived. As the years passed, the subject of kids came up more often. He'd bring up local school rankings or stories about a coworker's child getting into an advanced reading program. Meanwhile, I was fantasizing about last-minute flights to Mexico, telling myself we still had time for one more adventure before settling down. He never explicitly stopped me from doing what I wanted, but there was a silent dance between us. Him gently steering us in one direction, and me quietly digging in my heels. By our 3rd year of marriage, the arguments had all but disappeared, but what replaced them was far worse. We were no longer fighting, but we weren't aligned either. The gap between us wasn't loud or explosive. It was soft, polite, and suffocating. Our apartment was nice, a 2-bedroom with large windows and a kitchen he'd remodeled himself over one obsessive weekend, like it was a mission to perfect something he could control. But in that beautiful space, silence settled like dust, growing heavier with time. I started coming home later. He went to bed earlier. I stopped explaining where I was going, and he stopped asking. That's when I met someone else. He was a friend of a coworker, came over once to fix our wireless printer. After that, I found flimsy reasons to see him again. I never mentioned I was married. I kept things vague. There was something quietly charming about him. An ease that reminded me of the version of my husband I used to know. The playful man from years ago, before every conversation became about fertility timelines or mortgage rates. We started texting, and he never pushed. That felt nice. He reminded me of who my husband used to be. The one who would surprise me with takeout or dance in the kitchen just because. I started calling this other man when I needed air, when my husband was folding laundry or updating the budget spreadsheet. He always did his own laundry, always hung his jeans by the waist to avoid creases. Just like that, so meticulous. I got sloppy, caught up in fantasy, lost my grip on reality. He noticed. One day he checked our shared phone plan. There it was. One number appearing again and again at all hours. I don't know what was said on the other end, but the next morning he looked like he hadn't slept. He stood in the kitchen and said simply, "I know." Then he told me not to talk to him. His voice was quiet, calm. He didn't yell, didn't slam doors, didn't break anything. He just asked me to stay out of his way and walked into the bedroom. The next morning, he wasn't in our bed. He'd moved to the guest room. By the weekend, he'd rerouted his direct deposit into a new bank account. Precise. The way he always was. He'd always covered most of the expenses: rent, groceries, insurance. I chipped in with smaller things like subscriptions and the Wi-Fi. We had a joint account, but he left it open for now. Then nothing. He went silent. I don't know if he's hired a lawyer yet, but he won't talk to me about anything but money. I've tried, but he refuses. He says he wants a divorce. This time I believe him. As for the other man, I haven't seen or spoken to him since everything fell apart. I wouldn't even know where to begin. How do you say, "Hey, I torched my marriage, can we keep pretending this was fun?" But it's not fun anymore. I don't want him. I don't want this divorce either. I just want to do it over. But I know I can't. My husband, almost ex, won't even look at me. It's been 4 days since he left. He took what he needed, His work clothes, laptop, chargers, shaving kit, some tools. He didn't take everything. He left the drill but took his favorite flashlight. He didn't tell me where he was going, just said he wasn't going to keep paying for a place where I was the only one living. I couldn't argue. I was frozen. I still freeze like that sometimes. My body forgets how to move, my thoughts spiral, and then go blank. I don't know where he's staying, maybe a friend's couch, maybe a hotel. He's not telling me. Now the only texts he replies to are about receipts, groceries, cleaning supplies, things we both use to share. He wants to keep a record. I've become a transaction to him, someone he used to know. For the first time in a long while, I'm facing money alone. My job only gives me 22 hours a week, and even that depends on who else needs shifts. Rent swallows almost everything. Utilities still loom. I only turn the AC on when it's absolutely unbearable. I eat frozen meals I find in the clearance bin. I tried calling my dad once but hung up before he answered. I haven't told anyone, not my family, not my friends. They always liked him more anyway. They probably still do. And the other guy? He figured it out. We messaged once after it all collapsed. I didn't explain much, but I think he always suspected I was married. When I mentioned needing somewhere to stay, he vanished a few days later. I tried again, telling him things were bad. He wrote back, "I'm sorry you're going through all that. I'm not in a place to help." That was it. He's still out there posting gym selfies, dinner photos, pictures of his dog. Yesterday, he tagged some woman I didn't recognize. Maybe he was always like this. Or maybe he saw my wreckage and ran. Part of me feels he should be held accountable too. He knew, and he still went through with it. But life doesn't work that way. Nothing happens to him. He gets to walk away. And now so do I, but alone. I asked the landlord what it would take to break the lease. 2 months rent, no refund on the deposit. I can't swing that. So I've started looking for a roommate. No one wants to live with someone mid-divorce. One woman came by and asked why the second bedroom was empty, and why I had so many frozen burritos. I didn't have an answer. Today it became official. I got an email. His last name in the subject line. A lawyer. A full breakdown. Assets, lease termination, division of everything we once shared. I read it standing next to the coffee maker he picked out. I didn't reply. I've read it 5 times now and still don't know how to respond. I can't afford a lawyer. Mediation is a fantasy. I'm behind on rent. Out of desperation, I messaged AP again, asking if he could help me find a place or let me stay just a few nights. He saw it and didn't answer. The next day I followed up. He finally responded, "I don't think it's a good idea for us to keep talking right now." I haven't messaged since. I can't bear the silence, but I can't take being unwanted either. So now I'm selling things, my clothes, old electronics, even wedding gifts. I took the mixer, our expensive mixer, to a pawn shop. They gave me $40. Didn't even pretend to care. I've asked for more hours at work, but they're cutting hours across the board. The landlord gave me a deadline. Pay by the 15th or leave. I still haven't told my parents. They'd say it's my fault, and they'd be right. But hearing it from them would break something in me. Sometimes I want to reach out to my husband, ask him one last time. But I already know what he'd say. He doesn't owe me anymore. I betrayed something sacred. Even now, I catch myself expecting him to walk through the door, hearing his keys drop in the bowl by the entrance. I want to text him things like, "We're out of coffee," or, "Did you pay the water bill?" But there's no we anymore. No plan. No grand fix-it moment. No redemption arc waiting around the corner. He's not coming back. Neither is the other man. All I'm left with is the wreckage, and myself, trying to figure out what that means.